Happy Monday. Let's find a comfy seat and we'll start there. Just letting the spine get nice and tall here. Maybe letting the eyes close if that feels comfortable. Feeling the way the body is exchanging respiration. There's this up and coming sculptor who's really starting to command some attention and in turn some financial recognition or reward for his work. Give ourselves just 40 more seconds here. It's appropriate for you. If the eyes are closed, let's allow them to open. Let's bring our hands just to a place they can anchor. Palms up or palms down, whatever feels most comfortable for you, but anchor the hands somewhere so that they're static, and then that squeeze the scapula back. And as the scapula get into that full retracted position, let's just turn our gaze over towards the left. And then keeping that retraction of the scapula, we'll bring our head back to neutral. And we'll turn our gaze over to the right. Solid squeeze. And we'll relax back to neutral. With an exhale, let your chin tuck to your sternum. As the chin tucks, think about broadening out across the collarbone. Relaxing the top of the shoulders away from the ears. And let's inhale to head back to neutral. Give that scapula retraction again. So we drive back and then we'll lift the chin towards the ceiling or sky. And then we'll relax our head back to neutral. And let's transition to hands and knees tabletop. Let's come into tabletop. Thinking about the shoulder shelf and paying particular attention to the fingertip energy. Let's exhale out. We'll round the middle of the back, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. At the top of this, just give yourself a little lateral sway. The sway here can be in the hips, it can be in the middle of your arch, it could be in the shoulders, but just moving laterally in the way that the body's kind of desiring movement. And then we'll relax back to neutral and sink the seat back into child's pose. Settling back here, just feeling the spine. There's likely a subtle little bit of flexion, but trying to bring as much neutrality as you can through the spinal column, maybe even a little extra abdominal squeeze to make that happen. And then when it feels appropriate for you, hands are going to connect with the mat in front of us. We'll pull ourselves forward to hands and knees, tabletop. And that's inhale in, we'll drop the belly, lift the tailbone, lift the chin. Here, just turn your elbow pits so they face one another. So the elbows bend towards the edges of the mat. And we're just gonna work through some little subtle bends of the elbow. Now we do have, as the elbow pits come in, you do bring some internal rotation energy. So if this is feeling bad on that anterior shoulder crease, then relax the elbow placement and just allow for some stability. But if we have the opportunity to just move the elbow subtly, let's do that. And then eventually we'll relax back to neutral. Traditional orientation of the arms, curl your toes, lift your seat, and find your way into down dog. As you're getting the weight back in down dog, think about the hips lifting. Notice where the energy is in the hands. Think about the finger mounds really being a point of emphasis and engagement. Maybe even so much so that you can lift the heels of the hands off of the mat as you're back here. And then we'll come back down to hands and knees, tabletop, curl the toe or flip the feet and sink your way back into child's pose. And as you sink into child's pose, once again, just thinking about the neutrality of the spine. Thinking about what tweaks, shifts, and adjustments take out that little bit of flexion energy that we have. We'll give ourselves just 25 more seconds here. As the popularity of this sculptor grows, he starts to become more picky and choosy with the projects he takes on, always ensuring that there is the apt financial reward. When it feels appropriate for you, as it feels appropriate for you, hands are going to slide forward. We'll pull ourselves into tabletop. From tabletop, just send your left leg straight back and behind you. Bring your right hand to heart center, and let's open our left arm up into a little modified side angle here. Stack the shoulders. Have the left palm open and facing towards the left side of your room. And then we'll release the left hand down to the mat and bring our left knee back in line with the right. Right leg's and extend straight back and behind you. Left hand to heart center. We'll turn, that right heel grounds. Right arm opens up. Right palm open, facing towards the right side of the room. Right hand comes down to the mat. Right knee comes back in line with the left. Curl your toes, lift your seat, and find your way into down dog. And let's walk to the front of the mat. Inhaling into half lift as we arrive. Big, expansive spine, and then exhaling back into fold as you settle into that fold. See if you're able to relax into a little bit more depth. And then we'll drift our awareness to our sacrum and roll ourselves up vertebrae by vertebrae. Unrolling the spine until we arrive at mountain. Splaying the toes out. Let's take our hands out towards T, palms down. And just think about the shoulder girdle, any tension points that are popping up. Think about the weight distribution in the feet, any tilting or tweaking in the lateral lines. Scapula squeeze back. And then let's relax our hands to heart center. As the hands settle at heart center, just slide your left foot straight back and into lunge. Establish your lunge and sweep the arms towards crescent. Think about getting that front leg verticality, removing any bend in the back leg, and feeling the strength of that back quad. We'll drop the hands to heart center and return to mountain. Slow, fluid, easy breath here. When it feels appropriate, right foot slides straight back. Right foot lands. We think about setting our position and then sweep the arms to crescent. No bend in the back knee. Good verticality on those lower leg bones. We'll drop the hands to heart center and return to the front of the mat. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale through forward fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Plant your hands. We'll walk to down dog. Shift the weight forward to plank. And then drop the knees, flip the tops of the feet, and we'll sink our way back into child's pose. As you sink into child's pose, entertaining the idea of core engagement to bring more neutrality to the spine. Ourselves about 30 more seconds here. So the sculptor became very direct with jobs, saying, you know, if you're not going to pay me what I'm worth, I'm not going to do the work for you. And there was no exception to this. When it feels appropriate for you, let the hands slide out in front of us if they're not already there. We'll pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. Establish our tabletop and then slide our left foot straight back and into a connection on that toe mound. Right hand comes to heart center. We'll roll open once again. Left arm reaches up. Left palm is open. See if you can get into this point and then get your scapular retraction. Not necessarily rotating that top arm back. Top arm can go back, but we want the scapula to be the driver, not just a torso rotation. A little bit more abdominal engagement likely involved to maintain your balance. And then left hand comes back down to the mat. Left knee comes back in line with the right. Let's sway our hips a touch here. And then when you're ready, we'll move to side two. Right foot slides straight back, right toe mound connects, left hand to heart center, right foot grounds as the right arm reaches up. Right palms open, facing towards the right side of the room. Once you're here, we add that little scapular retraction. We think about the strength that brings across the shoulders. Top arm likely moves from that, but it's not a torso rotation. And then eventually the right hand comes down, right knee comes back in line, and we will sway our hips. Eventually, tailbone comes back to neutral. Toes curl underneath you, seat lifts, and we'll find down dog. Get the weight to shift back and elevate the hips, energize down into the hands. Think about that strength in the shape. And then when it feels appropriate, let's walk our way forward. And we'll find fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. When it feels appropriate for you, drift your awareness to your sacrum. Let's roll ourselves up vertebrae by vertebrae. And we'll bring our hands together, heart center. Keep that strength in the hands, so wide fingers here as we slide our left foot straight back into lunge. Get all the way back. Keep the width in the hands. We're going to roll the torso to two. Blossom the arms out. Fingers out wide. Like you're trying to hold a plate that is stuck to your hand, let's say. Drive energy into the core so we get the torso nice and vertical. And then squeeze the scapula back. Very easy as the scapula squeeze back, the arms to drop. Think about keeping that shoulder height. Then we'll spin the left heel up and find crescent. Arms reach towards the ceiling or sky. Drive some energy towards that front leg and feel that anterior sheath of musculature on the left leg expand. Then drop your hands to heart center and we'll step to the front of the mat. Landing here. Feeling a little respiration here. Let's take a couple of cycles of breath. Big full inhales. Big deep exhales. One more time, we take the exhale breath out. And when it feels appropriate, hands get nice and wide again, so we have energy in the hands. We carry that with us as we step the right foot back. Ground the right heel and roll to two. Big squeeze of the scapula back. Think about keeping the hands at shoulder height. And as the arms, let's say, stay at shoulder height, we get that retraction. We feel the strength required across the shoulder girdle. Eventually, right heel spins up. Both hands reach towards the sky. Shift the weight into that front leg and feel that right hip expand. Hands drop to heart center and we'll Step to the front of the mat. Inhale, sweep your arms up and overhead. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Let your hands plant. Slide your right foot straight back into lunge. And then let's take our right hand and plant that middle of the mat. We're going to roll to the lateral edge of the right foot. Try to keep the ankle integrated. And we have some work on this left hip. Now you can stay right here. If it feels accessible, you can take the left hand up into a nice big twist. But we don't need to add the twist. We can stay with just some energy working towards that left hip. Eventually, left hand comes down to the mat. Right toe mound comes back in contact with the mat, and we'll step forward and into fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Left foot slides straight back. Left hand comes to heart center. We'll roll to the outer edge of the left foot. And we have enough hip torsion right there. If you want to continue, right hand can reach towards the ceiling or sky. Nice full engagement here. Right hand comes back down to the mat. Left toe mound comes in contact with the mat, and we'll step forward into fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Drop into that fold space. Plant your hands. Let's walk to down dog. We'll shift forward into plank. Drop to the hands and knees tabletop. Flip the tops of the feet. And sink your way back into child's pose. Check in with your rate of respiration. Check in with the heart rate. See what we can do to dial things down. Really slow in the way we're respirating. And so this sculptor started to turn down more jobs than he accepted. But there was a deliberate and intentional reason. He only had so much time. Creating sculptures is a laborious, time-consuming project. And he wanted to save money for a very particular, very grand gesture. A sculpture he had been thinking about for as long as he could remember, that he thought the entire world would go crazy over. Last 15 seconds here. When it feels appropriate for you, hands reach out in front of us if they're not already there. We'll pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. From hands and knees tabletop, send your left foot straight back and you can bring your right hand to heart center, but really engage in that left foot. So we want some strength in that leg. Then we're just going to see if this is possible. You can keep both hands planted to do this. We're going to send our right foot back. So if you feel comfortable in that right arm, you can just step that right foot back. If you want that left hand planted too, you just step the right foot back. And then we just kind of have a slightly rotated plank, or maybe we have a side plank. Either one of these shapes is perfect. We're just feeling that strength of openness in the shoulders. Left hand comes down to the mat. Find your way to plank. Then drop 2 hands and knees, flip the tops of the feet, sink back into child's pose. Touch the depth of child's pose, and then we'll inhale and pull ourselves forward. Refining tabletop, right foot extends straight back, right foot grounds, left hand to heart center. And same thing here. We have the option to keep both hands grounded as we slide the second foot back, or we can go into a nice little side plank and feel that capacity in the shoulders. Eventually, right hand's gonna come down to the mat. We're gonna find our way to plank. Drop to hands and knees tabletop. Flip the tops of the feet, sink back to child's pose, and then we'll pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. So you get into tabletop, potential for some fatigue around the shoulders and in the arms. Curl your toes, lift your seat, roll your way back into down dog. Get the weight back into the hips. Easy here to want to cheat forward, but drive into the hips and take the pressure off of the hands, off of the arms. And then we'll walk our way forward and into fold. Inhaling into half lift. Exhaling back into fold. Drift your awareness to your sacrum. We'll roll or sweep our way into mountain. Bringing your hands together, heart center. Take a nice little slow breath here. When it feels appropriate for you, let's slide our left foot straight back into lunge. We'll sweep our way into crescent. Round the left heel and roll to 2. Think about setting up the key points of 2, the open front hip, the aligned medial edge of that front foot. And then we're just gonna tilt our way forward into side angle. So right hand's coming down to the medial edge, big toe edge of the right foot. Stack those shoulders. Think about the verticality of the tibia and fibula, the lower leg. And we'll draw ourselves back into 2. Slide back into the right hamstring, and let's just tilt our way forward into triangle. We'll draw ourselves back up, rebend that front knee, spin the left heel up, find crescent. Drive your weight into the left heel, drop the hands to heart center, and that step to the front of the mat. Nice, fluid breath here. When it feels appropriate for you, we're headed to side 2, right foot slides straight back. We land there, ground the right heel, roll to 2. Make sure you set up your warrior 2. So we have this nice open front hip, nice aligned medial edge of our front foot, good vertical stack of the spinal column. Then we're gonna tilt forward into side angle, taking that left hand down to the medial edge, big toe edge of the left foot. Stacking our shoulders, thinking about the verticality of the tibia and fibula. And we'll draw ourselves back up into 2. Slide back into your left hamstring, and we'll tilt our way forward to triangle. And then we'll draw ourselves back up into 2. Spin the right heel up and find crescent. Drop the hands and step to the front of the mat. And just breathe here. Nice, fluid, easy breath. When it feels appropriate for you, as it feels appropriate for you, let's sweep the arms up and overhead. And we'll exhale through forward fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Plant your hands. Let's walk to down dog. Put your weight back in your hips here. Think about the length of the spinal column. And then let's drop the hands and knees. Tabletop, flip the tops of the feet and sink our way back into child's pose. Land here. And we just breathe. Nice, fluid, easy breath. Eventually, other artists started to notice the skill and craftsmanship of this sculptor. And these two young artists approach almost at the same time with the same desire. They wanted to do an apprenticeship. And he accepted them both on. And they got to know each other a little bit. But the apprenticeship was much different than they expected, dramatically different than they expected. It was unpaid. That part they did expect. But it was unhelpful. And that part they didn't expect. Last 15 seconds here. When it feels appropriate for you, as it feels appropriate for you. Hands slide out in front of us. We'll pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. From hands and knees tabletop. Really want to get the fingers out wide. And we want to feel the strength in our hands. And let's slide our left foot back, ground the left heel. So we have that same energy and push energetically into the left foot. So you feel that. Right hand can come to heart center. And the left hand can again stay here, or we can rotate. We're going to slide the right foot back to our side plank. And then we're going to plant our left hand and step our right foot up to the outer edge, the outside edge of our right hand. And so now we have a little bit of an open lunge, low lunge, push back into that left heel. And then let's start to walk our hands to open up this shape towards the left foot. We want to keep the right toes pointed straight forward. And get the hands, you can go past midline if that feels available, but eventually we're going to come to midline. And then we're just going to, with the feet pointed in their own direction, left foot roughly towards the left side of your room, right foot towards the straight in front of your room. We're going to inhale into half lift and get the flat neutrality of your spine. And then exhale back into this. We want to feel the medial line or the medial edge of the posterior chain get accessed here in that front leg. And then we're going to walk our hands back to the front of our mat. And we still have some width on this right foot. So this is a little bit of a different shape than we normally would be in. We're going to sweep ourselves up to warrior one. A little bit different warrior one. Really hug back into the anterior hip crease of the right hip. And then drop your hands to the mat. Spin your left heel up and we'll step forward into fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Plant your hands. We'll walk to down dog. Let the weight get back in your hips here. Really feel the length of the spine. And then let's come down to hands and knees tabletop. We'll flip the tops of the feet and sink our way into child's pose. Just a brief pause here, 15 seconds to just kind of reset. And when it feels appropriate for you, hands slide out in front of us if they're not already there. We'll pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. As you get hands and knees tabletop, fingers get splayed out wide once again. Really create that width and really think about that width. And the right foot can slide straight back, right heel grounds. Left hand can come to heart center. Right hand can stay where it is, or we can go to the side plank as we step that left leg back. Eventually, the right hand's going to come down and we're going to step the left foot up to the outside of the left hand. We feel that as we start to walk towards the right foot, making sure the left foot is pointed straight forward as we do so. You can go past neutral if that feels accessible, but eventually we're going to make our way back to a neutral place where we can inhale the half lift. And exhale back into our fold. Letting your body settle into this fold. Want to feel this medial edge of the posterior chain getting there, our expansiveness here. When you feel balance left to right, we're going to walk our hands back towards the front of the mat. And now again, we have this extra width in our front foot. We're going to sweep ourselves up into warrior one. There's a lot of space here. Hug back deeply into that anterior hip crease on the left side. And then we'll drop our hands to the mat and step the right foot forward into fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Let the body sink into this extra space. Plant your hands. We'll walk down dog. Come down to hands and knees tabletop. Flip the tops of the feet and sink your way into child's pose. As you land in child's pose, another real brief stop. We'll be here 20 seconds this time. Just a little bit of extra duration, all about finding a reset. Big, full reset. When it feels appropriate for you, as it feels appropriate for you, let's pull ourselves forward to hands and knees tabletop. Curl our toes, lift our seat, and find down dog. And then let's walk to the front of the mat. And we'll inhale into half lift. And exhale back into fold. Drift your awareness to your sacrum. Let's roll ourselves up vertebrae by vertebrae. Finding our way to mountain. Bringing our hands together at heart center. We'll slide our left foot straight back into lunge. And then just sweep to full expression of crescent. And really think about getting the depth of your crescent here. So we're smoothing towards that front leg. We're dropping the middle of the body into the shape. Pushing energetically into that left heel. Left quad has some pretty good flex to it. And then let's drop the hands and we'll step to the front of the mat. Big full inhale. Big full exhale. When it feels appropriate, side two, right foot slides straight back. We land that right foot. We sweep full crescent. And then we think about just the full depth of the shape. Pushing towards that front leg, driving towards the back leg, and sinking into our full depth of our shape. And then eventually, hands come together at heart center, and we'll step to the front of the mat. Sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale through forward fold. Inhale into half lift. Exhale back into fold. Bend your hands, we'll walk to down dog. Last down dog of practice here, so maybe you pedal this out a bit, find any little bits and pieces that are still available for expansion. And then eventually let's come down to hands and knees tabletop. And we'll extend our legs straight out in front of us. When you feel settled here, let's find our way into a forward fold. We've done a pretty good job of talking to the posterior chain. See if you can find a little bit of extra space here. At the same time, remember that the knees bend. Remember, we want to feel like we're finding our way into space, not fighting to get out of the shape. So the thing that was the most surprising to these two apprentices is that he didn't teach either one of them a single thing. And when either one of them would ask a question about a particular technique, about a particular styling choice, his response was always the same. It was, well, if I teach you how to do it the way I do it, then people are going to pay me less. That doesn't make any sense. And so after not that long, these two apprentices end up quitting. And he kind of feels that the timing is perfect because he's finally saved up enough money to buy this huge piece of jade that he needs to start his final project, this massive sculpture he's been dreaming about. And so he gets this huge piece of jade delivered to his house, and he locks it behind the gates of his courtyard so no one can see it, and he goes to work. And as he's working, he's starting to feel the piece unfold, and it is more impressive. It is more immaculate. It's more everything than he expected, that he dreamed it could be, And so he's getting more and more excited. The more he works on this project, the more excited he is to share this piece with the world and to receive the kind of attention that he's always kind of felt he deserved. When it feels appropriate for you, we'll bring ourselves back to staff, and then we're lowering ourselves onto our spine. As your back hits the mat, just allow your body to relax. Really settle into this shape in a way that allows you to be at ease. And it wasn't like he didn't have attention. He was getting paid significant amounts of money every time he did a work. He had people that wanted to learn under his tutelage. He had customers coming to him that he was turning down constantly. So he was well known, particularly in the area. But he felt like this piece would become like a tourist piece that people would come from all over the world to see. Give ourselves just 30 more seconds to feel our body against the mat, to feel the work we've done, to feel the impact we've created thus far in practice. And eventually, when it feels appropriate for you, let's bring our knees into a bent position if they're not already there. And we'll just start to let the knees sway dynamically into some nice little lumbar rotations. Maybe one more time in each direction. And then eventually, the knees are going to come back to neutral. Bottoms of the feet will come together and the knees will fall out wide for a little supine butterfly. We will not be here long. Try to relax into this as much as you are able to. And when it feels appropriate for you, let's bring our knees back to neutral. And then we'll just ask ourselves if there's anything that we need, if there's anything that we want, if there's anything we could possibly benefit from prior to Shavasana. And if there's any tweak, if there's any adjustment, if there's any cycle of breath that we can offer ourselves, let's move into that. And then eventually, when you're ready, let's just drift into a shape where we can fully and deeply appreciate Shavasana. So the day finally came when the jade sculpture was done, when it was ready to be revealed to the world. And that morning was full of excitement for the sculptor. He was anticipating the crowds of people that would come, that would admire his work. And he was getting ready to swing the gates open for the first time for anyone other than him to see this project. Just finding your version of stillness when you're ready. And when it was finally time to open the gates, the sculptor was met with silence. Not exactly silence. In the distance, he could hear what sounded like a pretty significant celebration. Hurt, confused, he followed the noise into this impoverished area of town. And there he saw his two apprentices, or his two former apprentices, in the middle of this crowd of people jumping and singing and cheering. And he looked around, and his two apprentices had left him without the knowledge of being the true sculptors they wanted. And they'd come and they'd helped this town build an aqueduct that brought in water, a stone aqueduct that brought in water from a nearby creek, and a stone bridge that helped the people of this town cross this very dangerous ravine. And for their work, for their effort, for their gift, they were being celebrated. We'll start to bring some movement to our fingers and our toes, into our wrists and our ankles, up into our elbows and our knees, our shoulders, hips, neck, head, jaw, eyes, tongue. Eventually, the entirety of our body moves. And we'll utilize that movement to transition back into a seat. In the seated space, spine gets tall, breath gets fluid, eyes close. We'll inhale our hands together at heart center. Over the course of the next 7 days and beyond, can you remind yourself that what you get in life is how you earn a living, but what you give is how you build a life, and see how that impacts your experience. Thank you so much for being a part of this evening's practice and for being you. Namaste. Happy Monday, guys. Love the heck out of you. No practice next Sunday. We will do a post-holiday restorative yin on Monday. Love the heck out of you. Mwah.